be trading breakout long, and at this point in time, the short doesn't look too flash either. Now, just to put you into some sort of perspective as to why I'm not looking to trade the breakout currently, it's because Ash and I got together, and not even over a few beers, we sat down and analysed where there was a sweet spot with this, and it was pretty much with breaking of the 48-hour range, not even 48 hours, but yesterday's high and low, and including today's high and low thus far. So today obviously is inside yesterday, and that's all good. But to trade now, we believe that two things. One, that there was a sweet spot in profit taking, and that seemed to be around about the 2.5 to 1 mark. But a lot of those times we didn't reach that 2.5 to 1 mark. So in other words, it was an average. We got 8s, we got 5s. I'm talking about X. I'm not talking about how much we actually banked. I'm talking about risk to reward, and 5Xs, 8Xs, sometimes 10, but then you get quite a few losers thrown in there as well. Trying to get that sweet spot is of course the challenge that we have and have been trying to work out for some time. So what we came up with was wait till we've got a nice range and trade it to the 2.5% and just get out. So I haven't really seen anything that I like in that regard anytime in the recent past, but it's always my thing to take early profit, right? So I was looking to trade the, you recall that Peter Mitchell, the programmer guy for Actions to Wealth, EAs and everything that opens and shuts as far as the IT world is concerned, in Actions to Wealth, was also trading this scenario, pound US dollar breakout on the open of London session. And he was using the high and low of the range that he determined was the range. So let's say it was the range of the day, high of the day, low of the day, enter 5 above, enter 3 below. And as soon as you hit the first significant, well, not even significant, the first resistance or support, you just take your profit. That's it, over and done. I found that was giving us a lot of very poor rewards in terms of risking 20 pips to get 5 and things like that. So that didn't really turn me on. Currently, we're still, I guess, working on the principle that Ash and I came up with, which is take the range of the day before, and if we're inside that, then that's the range, and just enter it, let's say 5 above the high and 3 below the low, and then take profit at 2.5 to 1. That's it, nothing more. So I'm happy to go through that if you want. If you want me to, I'm happy to trade that in front of you. If you want me to do that. Haven't done that thus far because I'm still a little bit dubious on not taking early profit. But the facts were there. I mean, the back testing was there, and it showed that 2.5 to 1 was the sweet spot over a reasonable amount of back testing. So that's manual back testing. It's not computerized. So I'm happy to do that if you want. And look, why not? We'll do that. We'll just tiny risk. The reason I haven't been doing this is because you guys, whilst you want to be in the market and totally get it, everybody wants to be in the market when they're going through their early journeys, but it's not necessarily the best thing to do, as you probably are now beginning to learn. So that's why I've kind of been discouraging trading this, because I don't want you guys to actually get in and trade it. And I know it's difficult not to do that, because you think, okay, these guys have been trading for 13 or 14 years. If they're doing it, why wouldn't I? Wait till it's proven, right? That's the whole thing. But I'm going to do it, right? Just because I want to show you how it works. Now, I am going to trade this at extremely small risk, okay? So what I'm talking about here is if we get 2.5 to 1 out of a trade, we're probably going to win $2.50 or something. So that works in reverse, of course, or on the other side of the coin. If we lose, we're going to lose proportionate amount to that. So it'll be very, very small losses, very, very small gains. This is just forward testing and nothing more than that. So please, if you haven't witnessed this before, this is what it's all about. It's not about trying to make money here. It's about trying to make money in the future based on a system that we believe works. And we believe it works because we're trialing it, right? So here I go. Here will be the first of that new way to trade it. So we've got a high here. That'll be the high of the range. We'll enter the market 5 pips above there. And here's the low of the range. We'll enter the market 3 pips below there. And it's an OCO. So those of you who don't know what that means, if one triggers, we cancel the other. So we're setting both a long and a short at the same time. If the short triggers, we cancel the long. If the long triggers, we cancel the short. So today, here we go. The high is 1.3909. I'm going to take that up to 1.3915 because I'm rounding up the 3909 to 1.3910. And then I'm adding 5 pips. So 1.3915 is going to be the entry for the long. It won't be at 0.5 of a lot, I can assure you of that. We'll go with 0.05 of one lot, which would be just about bugger all. Buy stop, as I said, at 1.3915. Now, to get the stop loss, we go 3 pips below the low of the range. And that's telling me lies, so I'll have to get out of this now. Hang on, I'll just guess it. Let's say that the low of that bar is 1.3837. I'll go with that. So I'll take 3 away from that, becomes 1.3834. And that will be the stop loss. It'll also be the entry for the long, for the short, sorry. So it's 38.34 and 39.15. Okay, see if I can remember that. 38.34, 39.15. That becomes the second of our orders. 1.3834 and 1.3915. If I say it enough, I remember it, you know. That's why you're hearing me say it 100 times. 38.34 and 1.3915. Again, guys, 100% do not put meaningful money on this. 1.3915. Okay. Ash, you're awake.
I am awake, mate. Yeah.
Did you have a big sleep, buddy?
I feel better. Yeah, I feel much better. And
I've got to say, your eyes look to be well above your cheeks today. That's good.
Well, actually, mate, you know what? It's just kind of case in point about, you know, maybe not trading when you're feeling that way, because my analysis was right on the range aspect of it. The reason I was trading the FTSE long yesterday was because I kind of assumed about this range, but what I didn't take into account was the width of the potential range. And actually, when I come back to it today, I can see it's quite clear. And it's just, you know, yesterday there just wasn't enough research, clarity because of the way my head was. So yeah, it's just, again, it's case in point, mate. Case in point. Don't try and get in front of the markets if you're feeling way under where you should be. A little bit under is okay, but way under where you should be.
100%.
That's okay. It's a shame because we were on a nice Monday run, but now I look at the markets with a lot more clarity, and we can. I I did take a small FTSE yesterday, which covered my small loss. Well done, John. Well done, mate. Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it? I mean, when you finished your analysis, mate, we'll have a look at the FTSE and talk through the mistake and talk through, you know, really the way it should have been traded, and see if there's an opportunity today, or whether we should be sitting on our hands again.
All right, mate. I've just told the guys I've reinstated the pound US dollar based on the research that you and I did a couple of months ago, because we haven't really been trading it. And the reason for that is I didn't really want the guys to be trading this with not so much the research that we did, but the combination of what I was trying to achieve and what our research told us. So what I'm doing now is we're trading the breakout of yesterday's range and pardon me, plus today's. Obviously today so far is an inside range, so we're trading yesterday's range, and we're going and entering 5 pips above the high, 3 pips below the low, and at 2.5 to 1 risk we're closing the trade. That's it, no more than that, because we're determined, did we not, that 2.5 to 1 was our sweet spot.
Yes, we did. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah.
So we're going to try that. Again, I've cautioned the guys not to trade this with any, if at all, with any meaningful money. And we'll see how this goes in forward testing over the next couple of months.
Brilliant.
Okay. Now, apart from all of that, I did place an order this morning on my daily charts. So we've got 2 orders at the moment, long euro dollar. One of them is on the weekly and the other is on the daily. Now, this might be a bit early, as I said this morning, but it is giving me a beautiful candle to trade. I actually love that candle. And the reason I love that candle, well, it's actually got a few reasons. It's rejected the weekly pivot and, of course, yesterday's daily pivot. It's also got a nice low test of probably not a level, but it's close enough. It's certainly retested this level here, and I'm looking for a buying opportunity going at least to the monthly pivot. I think we've got a little bit of a channel here, which is not really conducive to where we are in terms of entering the market, I've got to say. But we've also got the opportunity, if this doesn't trigger, to pick up a higher low based on this bullish engulfing bar. So if this is not the higher low, and it does look a little bit tight, I've got to say, so it may well be early. And if that's the case, then fine. We may get another, maybe a test of this level down here, and then we can look to pick up a far better entry than we've currently got on the daily. Now, the levels for that, for some reason, it's not on my chart. I think it's because I'm on another one over here somewhere. Yeah, there they are. So if you wanted to trade, follow that trade, there the levels on the daily, buying at 1.1881 with a stop loss at 1.1833. Take profit 1 is at 1.1897. That's pretty skinny based on our risk, but it just falls inside my preferred 1/3 of the risk that we take. That's the minimum I would prefer. You've got to have one. Sorry, you don't have to have anything. I have to have at least 1/3 of my risk covered in that first take profit area. That I like as well. That little trade line that's been broken through here. So when I talk about that little channel that may have formed, it has pretty much been broken, and the backside of it rejected. So I think that's an opportunity there. And
falling wedge, mate. Yeah, I like the look of that too. Falling wedge, and it looks like I mean it's way off, and it's highly speculative, but it looks like the start of a inverted head and shoulders potentially as well, with the left shoulder, and this is the head still, so it's got a little ways to go, but that potential left shoulder horizontal level would be a personal target if I was in this with you. I like the look of this a lot.
Yep. And it also stacks up on the weekly, as I said yesterday, and we've also got a weekly order on that. If you wanted to follow that one. Of course, we are getting out of the first portion of our daily trade before we enter our weekly trades. So I'm not doubling up on our risk there at all. They're two separate trades. Might be a good scaling point, actually, coming back to that level if it actually does retest it at some stage. So the buy on the weekly is at 1.1903. Stop loss is at 1.1779. And our first take profit level will be at 1.1980. Now, I absolutely like the look of this. If it had a black body, I'd actually love the look of it, but it doesn't. It's a white one. Now, I've got to add to this that the monthly chart has been showing me something completely different. And the longer term picture that I've got on the monthly suggests that we have a pretty clear false break of that resistance trend line. What I mean by that, we've broken the level, we've hit a horizontal level of resistance, which drove us back underneath the trend line, and we retested the trend line. The one thing here that encourages me to go long is that that hasn't played out at this point. So what you're normally looking for with a false break is that particular scenario to set up, and then you get an instant reaction from the sellers who were, after all, in control before that bar. So it hasn't really happened, hasn't panned out that way. And for that reason, if one thing's not happening, then I think perhaps another is. So that other may well be the continuation of this scenario where we have had where we've had a break below this horizontal level. We had a little false break of it before. We put in a higher low based on that double bottom, and now we're struggling again to get through that level. I think we're going to have another crack at it, frankly. And if that's the case, and we get in here, then we've got a fair bit of money in the bank before we actually take that on. And if you leave something open there and it does go, then happy days. You could be into a pretty strong trade. So that's the basis of euro dollar, and I like the look of it, quite frankly.
Yeah, I like the look of that, mate. And there's also that upper trend line as well on the monthly, which actually looks like it's taken out, and I don't know whether that may well have some significance ultimately.
Did we have that in before? I think we did, didn't we? Yes. That comes from, actually, there's a few places that could come from.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't you go from the very, very high point?
You could have that. You could have that, the one you're talking about. It's just on the cusp, isn't it?
Well, I'd be coming down. I'd be coming down and testing the.
Oh, you want you want it there?
Even lower than that.
Even lower than that.
Yeah, the highest point is right. The where it starts is right.
You want it down here? Where do you want it?
Yeah, exactly. But I would have gone to right. You know, where you had the original starting point at the very high of the the high test bar, and then yes, extrapolating down sort of like through the lows that you had it, so even lower. You know, just so it's touching those 2 points a bit lower.
Oh, here.
There, yeah. So there, that's where I'd have it. That looks pretty tidy to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do we really believe that the euro can rally? That's the one thing that does concern me a little bit.
Yeah, it is a bit concerning, mate. I suppose the answer would be yes, because of this potential kind of move out of lockdown. We've seen the United States move first, and that's generally the case. We've seen a reaction to that. But if the other currencies come in line with the United States, and if the United States is moving, that means that that trade is potentially doing well. I don't see enough data to suggest that it's the consumer kind of dragging the United States outlook forward. I think it's a global thing. So if it's a global, if it's a macro effect that is encouraging the Fed to change their dot plot, then you'd expect the other currencies to start to have the same kind of tone. or the United States to row back. So one way or the other, they start to move into alignment with each other. So yeah, I would expect Christine Lagarde, maybe not at the next meeting. I think she's out this week, but maybe not the next meeting. But because they will have to talk about, at least they'll have to talking about raising interest rates, and the balance is on whether we're out of the woods enough to really kind of start to state that. And we know we're not. We know that there's still these variants popping around. We know that we haven't really actually gone through the next stage of the worldwide experiment that is coming out of lockdown after a questionable, in my opinion, vaccine program. Because it hasn't beaten the virus by any stretch. So it is all a little bit questionable. So there will need to be some accommodative language and accommodative rhetoric, but there's got to be a point where they start to say we're in line with the United States, because there is enough growth out there now to suggest that if we don't get in line, then prices are going to get out of control. And we still don't know whether the inflation that's started to creep in is transitory or permanent. And they seem to be in a little bit of balance right now. So I would expect nations to at least kind of have a similar tone. And as I say, that could go one of two ways. It might be that the ECB come out and say, we will also be looking at potentially tapering in 2 years' time, or the United States say, actually, we're a bit early on this, so let's put that on hold right now, and then the dollar will sink again. So I would suspect the next move is probably for a bullish move against the dollar. I don't think the United States is anywhere near as far ahead as an interest rate rise there and nowhere else would justify.
Interesting. Okay. Watch this space as always, and I don't think we know. As you're saying, I don't think we know enough yet to be super confident about any direction. But anyway, I think what I'm looking at looks fairly bullish to me as far as the euro dollar is concerned, and we'll just leave it at that. I think it really was the only currency pair that I thought was tradable this morning. I said yesterday, and I'll go back to this, that the Aussie, if it put in a higher low, particularly at this level, I think that was my quote, and a reversal bar would be a tradable opportunity. And if I saw that, I would trade it. I didn't see that because I was asleep probably. No, not at that stage, but I wasn't in front of the charts anyway. That would have been a great trade, straight up to there, and take profit one before the weekly pivot and looking to trade it longer or further long. Today is interesting because we're coming off the weekly pivot and we've got an untested daily pivot below us. So there may be a second opportunity to get into that if you fancy trading Aussie dollar long. Sounds like I've got a set against the US dollar today, doesn't it? Well, that's par for the course, really, for me, isn't it? I don't see anything good about the US dollar. But anyway, we'll leave that alone. So I'll be looking for that. I hope it happens whilst I am in front of the charts rather than yesterday when it wasn't. I think that was probably, there were 5 or 6 ranges that I was looking at. Maybe we could have a look at those a bit later if there's time, but we better shoot to you because Shukri will be coming shortly and we'll be talking crypto. So let's have a look at FTSE and all things that you're looking at as well, mate.
Yeah, let's take a little bit of I guess education out of this as well, because this is really a case in point about information, how to unravel the information. So the first thing is really to say that the FTSE, this was yesterday's price action. So I was trying to get in here and here, but look where it came to. And the issue was this trend line wasn't here yesterday. This trend line was actually here. It was a little steeper. So I was relying on it at least holding up at the weekly pivot, but it came through the weekly pivot, under the monthly pivot, but then it started to mess about in this area, and then it shot to the upside. Now, I was assuming there'd be a range, but I did not assume that it would be this deep. And the reason that it was that deep is that when we come to, so if you remember this number here, this is at 60. Let's call it, yeah, 69.95. Now, if we look at this on the clean charts, just so we can have a look at the longer term time frames, and if we check out what the daily levels are. Now, this was yesterday's low, and look at the horizontal level here, here, and here. So this is if you like, a last point of defense, and it should have been noted, you know. And this is, as I say, you know, case in point of tiredness and everything else. So I did note that down. So that was the buy zone. That was the final buy zone. And I did some jiggery pokery with it, and I got just about flat. I'm a little bit under, so I've still got some work to do to kind of get my my money back from yesterday, but not too much work to do. Now let's talk about today. So this is a buy zone. FTSE has opened up pretty keen, and there's a few things going on that we need to take into account. The first thing is the price action, which is in a sell zone. So we're at now we're at these highs. So really, this is a much more comfortable area to try and sell off. If we look at yesterday's bar, this is yesterday's bar here, which I will circle so we can see it. Now, it is important to take note of these bars and try and make an assumption of what message they're trying to send us. And this is the bar here. And this bar is telling us that there is a lot of indecision in the market. Now, when I see this, what I want to know is what is causing and creating that lack of decision making. And then when we kind of like go to news and data, then we understand that there are a few numbers that are due to be released. We've got CPIs, we got Christine Lagarde also out this week. But I think more importantly is the start of earnings season. So when I know that there's a start of earnings season, and I know that there's a potential for a rally to be too risky at this stage before those earnings are released, and I haven't heard any major assumption. And then I look at yesterday's bar and I see that yesterday should have provided indecision. What that's saying is that until those numbers start to come out, then we should still be indecisive. So that still states that we're going to be within a range. Now, this is a sell zone, so it suggests that this is the upper end of the range. So the first thing that I can decipher is my safest direction of travel is down. Now I'm going to bring my pivots in again. Where are you? Bring my pivots in again, and we'll go to the hourly. So if my safest zone is down, and I'll just put that line in on this chart, and it might be there, it might be that high. Let's use the higher one just because we're not 100% sure on that. So there might be a little bit more room to the upside, but you can see how that area is being almost tested and rejected. And as I say, the line might be just a shade lower. It might be along this level, which looks like it's got maybe slightly more touches. So looks like this is the area that looks like it should be rejected. So if that's the sell zone and my safest direction of travel is down, then I can start looking at the daily pivot and saying that's a target. So really it's kind of saying, you know, do I have a bar to trade? Now there's a 1-to-1 here. And then I have to ask myself, do I want to take that 1-to-1 trade? And the only reason that I wouldn't take it, or a reason I wouldn't take it, is that even though we are in a sell zone, we are in a sell zone in an uptrend. So what I would prefer is a sell zone in a downtrend. So where this yesterday was kind of going up and down, very difficult to ascertain. Really, this becomes a bit of a sell zone if you're looking at the hourly chart. Not on the dailies, but on the hourly chart. So there was a little grab here, which I did manage to take just to kind of get some money back. But then it turns around again, and now we're in an uptrend. So we got a fresh highs here. So what this is saying is, to me, what the charts is saying to me, we're in a sell zone. Yesterday's bar shows indecision. The likelihood is that the sell zone will hold until earnings, and we're in an uptrend. And when I put all that together, it says wait for that sell zone to mature and look for the downside to happen, but don't trade it. And when we get down to the daily pivot, then I have a potential area that I can go long. So that is my that's my kind of current way of thinking, is that that I want to try and get along somewhere in this zone here, which I know the futures prices are different, but it's around about 30 pips away from current price. So if you look at your charts, then you'd probably be looking at something like 70.95 or something like that. So that's the overview, mate. I'm not trading this at this stage. I think that there's and look at what's really happened this morning. You know, the market really can't decide. There's no real gumption to be moving up. There's definitely no gumption to be moving down just yet. But that's what I want to see. I want to see a drift into this area and then look to pick this up again. And it'll probably be around about US open time when the banks start to release their numbers. Now we can also overlay some other bits and pieces. Let's overlay the VIX, and we can see with the VIX that the VIX is pretty muted. You know, it's not really suggesting that the VIX is also in an area that is on a buy zone, if you like. But at this stage, the VIX isn't really telling us anything. So VIX may well see a little bit of a pickup.
Mate, just dawned on me, maybe there's some people in the room who don't know what the VIX is. So if you could just briefly mention that, that would be good.
Yeah. So when you look at the VIX, you want to look at the VIX in conjunction with the S&P, because the VIX is effectively the fear index for the S&P. So where you will look to, if you're a buyer of the S&P, one way that traders and investors can hedge their risk in the S&P is that they can continue to hold the S&P as a long, but then buy the VIX, which is a volatility index of the S&P, and the pickup in volatility often is associated with downside in the S&P. It doesn't mean that it will be downside, but often it's associated with downside. More often than not, it's associated with downside. So if these highs up here of the S&P, you want to continue to hold your positions, and the reason that you would do that is because of the dividends you'll be getting paid. Then one way you can hedge out the risk is to also buy the VIX. So as the S&P falls, the VIX pops up, and that's where you're making your money. So your wealth remains flat, but the dividend actually make up the profit that you're going to be getting. So I like to look at the VIX to suggest whether the market's going to be popping higher, whether the VIX is going to be popping higher. Because if the VIX pops higher, it would suggest global equities be coming down. So that's the point that I'd look for downside. Now, the
thing that most of the world's been waiting for God knows how long just doesn't happen.
Market coming down?
The global equities come down, yes.
Yeah, which I suppose at this stage it hasn't had the major catalyst, and the reason for that is that we've had a bounce back of pretty monumental historical performances, you know. So we've come back really hard, but if you look at the US economy and what's been happening with some of the data points, it does suggest the leveling off, you know, of that growth. We're still growing, but we're growing at a slower pace now. So this is where earnings start to become interesting. Will there be a few downside surprises? You know, will they come in line with expectation? Very unlikely that they surprise to the upside now. So, you know, if they surprise the upside, the market's going to pop again. But are we much more likely now to start to see a leveling off of those numbers, and potentially even some of those numbers coming in a little bit weaker than expected? And I think there's a chance of that looking at the US macro data. So there could actually be a little bit of easing to the downside with global equities relatively soon. And we are in the months where it's much more likely to happen as well. So yeah, I agree, mate. We've been waiting for it for a long, long time. There's nothing that suggests that we're going to tank. And I suppose that's why we keep holding at the higher band. You know, we keep popping down, but then popping straight back up again without a really, really deep correction. And the reason I don't think we're getting a deep correction is that there's no major panic. You know, it's just the odd flutter. that keeps coming out. There's no, there's certainly no major COVID panic going on right now. There's no China-US trade war going on right now. So relatively speaking, the world is quite quiet, which puts us in these kind of environments where trade can just bubble along.
The only thing from the way I think, I think logically, when I can, and logic tells me that, and I heard somebody say this the other day, I can't remember who it was, maybe Julian, probably Julian. He was, and I won't quote him, but whoever I did hear say this made perfect sense to me. Who's left to buy?
Well, this is a really interesting side of the argument, mate, and I was talking. I agree with you, but
well, it's not me, but it makes sense to me.
It does make sense. It does make sense, and actually, if you look at participation at these levels, they have dropped right off the planet. You know, there is very little big money going in at these particular levels, which is a dangerous point. However, the other side of it is who is selling. So you know that there are very few buyers, but there's very few people that are willing to sell at these. There's no panic out there for them to go, you know what, well, let's take profit. They're just going, well, let's enjoy this uptrend while it's lasting because it's still going up. Similar to the crypto market, I was having a chat to my buddy last night, and I was saying the issue that the crypto market's got right now, and his Shukri as he comes in. And I don't know what you think about this, Shukri, but I think one of the issues that the crypto market has got at this stage is we're either not yet at stage one or at stage one where people are starting to kind of like build positions. You know, they're starting to build small positions. But the people that's got heavily burned last time haven't got any money to kind of give us that frenzy, that feeding frenzy that we had. So I think that to think that Bitcoin's going up to $100,000 by the end of the year at this stage is pretty mad, because that people don't have that kind of spare cash and that gumption to go, right, the frenzy's gone. You know, so what will more likely happen is that we'll build slowly, build slowly, and then maybe into next year we start to see the frenzy come back. But that initial rush of blood to the head has passed, and there are enough of those people that have burnt all their funds to not be able to kind of give us that feeding frenzy again in some of these. That doesn't mean that all cryptos are not the same. You know, there will be some that still do very, very well. But I would have thought these blue chip ones, for want of a better term, will probably just level off, maybe even dip a bit more before starting to go up. But I do think that the explosive move is done, and that's the same with the S&P. I'd be surprised if the S&P was to explode again, but it can still kind of like accumulate slowly and edge up because, as you say, mate, you know, most people are probably already in.
They've got their positions. Yeah,
they've got their positions. Yeah.
So, Shukri, good day, buddy.
Good day. It's a good day. See,
Why?
I'm not happy that the S&P has not tanked, because in Bitcoin we have something called this grayscale unlock, which begins this week.
Yeah.
So most likely Bitcoin will sell off this week, and it'll be good if the S&P also tanks, because if people are hesitant on investing in Bitcoin and S&P goes up, it's a waste. You know, like, okay. So even though the unlock is over, if the S&P falls, then Bitcoin is going to fall again, right? That's boring. This is not fair. You know, hey, Ash, can you
so what you're saying, Shukri, is that that grayscale may well drive Bitcoin down.
Yes.
But if the S&P comes down after it, then Bitcoin will drop again because it's correlated. I see what you're saying. Yeah, interesting. So we almost want that meeting of mind. Do you know what though, mate? You may get your wishes. I mean, we are in a potentially quieter / bearish point of the S&P, and we've got earnings season. So if it's going to come down, the catalyst may come this month.
Yes. But look at this. Yeah, that's right. This month is good. Look at this. This is the biggest unlock on the 18th. Look at that.
Mate, sorry, just before you continue to explain that, for people in the room who would not have any idea what that means, I'm probably the only one, but just for me then, what the bloody hell does Grayscale Bitcoin Trust Unlock mean?
Grayscale, they buy Bitcoin and they put it, they're like an ETF, and Kathy Wood is here. Kathy Wood invested in this. Now, the
Is she a golfer?
She is the ARC Innovation, the most famous fund manager now, actually, in the world.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah, she got the thing on Tesla and all, right?
Yeah,
And
she's
yeah.
very, very highly respected. Kathy.
very.
So for her to talk
yeah.
about Bitcoin, it's a big deal for her to be involved in Bitcoin.
Correct. So you look
Cool.
at this, Ash. So there's a big one, and then it's August, right? So that's why I would said that this thing might resume after the middle of August. That would mean we had 3 months accumulation, no, 3 months distribution, 3 months accumulation. As Jeff said, right? Symmetry.
Yeah.
And there's no more unlocks after this, right? Probably there's some around here. So that's kind of cool. So this big one is coming at. They're starting today, I think, slowly. And this is interesting because in this is Kathy Wood's stuff. Kathy Wood is here. So now it's like Kathy Wood is somewhere here. So does Kathy Wood sell or not? Let's see. Very interesting. But if you guys don't feel safe, just do what I'm doing. Convert parts of your portfolio into USDC, USDT, whatever, and let's see what happens. Whatever happens will happen, you know?
Yeah, absolutely right, mate. And it is a very sweaty time for I think that anybody that's kind of over leveraged here. But there is a way to kind of relax on this stuff. And you just have to ask yourself if you still believe in the space, because if you do, what you want is this thing to come down.
Yes, correct.
You know, and because as long as you believe it's going beyond the price point it's at now, you hold your positions, and if it comes down, you add some more, aggregate your price down a little bit, and it still goes. But yeah, so that the grayscale unlocking is definitely interesting. John's asking, has anybody been following the story of the guy in the UK that lost his hard drive? Yes, mate. Wow. And you know what? There is a hedge fund, and I think it's worth about 4 million or something or 140 million, I think it's worth now. But there's a hedge fund that are now willing to pay for, because the council won't go to the landfill to look for this hard drive because they said it's too much money, too expensive for taxpayers. But a hedge fund has come out and said, we will fund the search for it because they know they'll get their money back because they'll have part of the Bitcoin.
They're not taking the PE, are they? Really?
No, mate. It's been going on about 6 to 8 years. This guy chucked his computer. But he was one of the first crypto miners, and they reckon that on there could be Satoshi Nakamoto's IP address on there.
His key is there. His Bitcoin is in the blockchain. It's not on the disk, but his key is there. And I think if they get it, there are a lot of computers that will be somehow able to hash something out, or at least if you know something that you just run a supercomputer, maybe you can get the key.
Yeah.
And it's worth it. You know, hey, you can spend like 5 million and you get 140 million, or you just throw that 5 million because you already made it.
Exactly.
Spend 1 million. There's nothing spending 1.4 million with the possibility of getting 140 million. Why not?
I mean, they better hope that you know, because it's in landfill. They better hope it's not damaged. They'll find it. Yeah, we got
it. So there's no such thing as Find My Phone on his on his hard drive, right? I guess.
No more. Okay, but look at this, right? Look at this. Now there is a bull market. It's in NFTs. So I already have the good thing now is I already have the syllabus ready for Crypto Moon 3, but really I'm more interested in going into NFTs actually.
Yeah, with you,
I
mate.
think that goes beyond. Now look at this, guys. Look at this. I want you to look at something. This is a very, very handsome pig. This is a very handsome pig. You know, he looks good. He looks good. Guess what this guy sold for? And I'm going to tell you an even sicker story. This is an NFT, guys. This is an NFT, and I can tell you why. One of our community sons, or unless you guys did the same thing like her, will also become a millionaire. I'm so sure about it. I'm so sure about it. But guess how much this sold for?
My goodness, mate. Well, just the picture.
Yeah.
Just the picture. I don't know, $100.
You're almost there. You're almost there. It's like 2 million.
Oh, get out of here.
Why?
2 million is rare. It's rare. You know why? Because he bought an NFT called CryptoPunks, and he probably bought it for around 2K US. And this is an airdrop, never to be minted again. He got this for free.
He got that for free. I mean,
yes.
what would somebody do with that?
I don't know, because that's what I said. The NFTs are in a crazy phase. Look at that. This is Pancake Swap. I mean, minus Uniswap, but these are all the crypto applications. This is just one NFT, which is XC Infinity. And look at that, what's going on there. The NFTs are the real money things. You know, there's real transaction going there. And that's why when you go into crypto, don't see this as I want to make money now or next year. See this that I may make money in the next cycle. And, you know, there are some that you're going to make money this cycle like John, but there's some that you're going to make money in the next cycle. Because when you look at all these NFTs, you know, a lot of them came out in the previous cycle. The things like CryptoPunks and all that, right? Like this. Okay, these are all the NFT, XC Infinity. CryptoPunks came out in the last cycle. Things like CryptoKitties came out there. NBA Top Shot has now gone down to number 5. Cool Cats is nice because suddenly Mike Tyson decides to like it. And the prices go up. Unbelievable. And you got this apes, right? This thing like Bored Ape, like apes. I would say in my show that apes together strong. Well, guess what? I should have bought an ape. I should have aped in. It was only like 200. It was only $200, and now they're selling for like 3,000 US.
Wow.
It's
wow.
crazy.
So what about Chili's? How's that getting on?
Chili's is just the normal. Yeah, that's gaming. That's gaming in football. Yeah, but anything gaming. Yeah, this is like Chili's. This is soccer. Yeah, so rare. Yeah, they're generating things. They're generating real things. Now let me tell you why, Ash, that the crypto insanity will come back. Let me tell you why. Jeff won't like this. Jeff, close your ears if you won't like this, but Jeff is old enough to know, hey, this is life. Jeff can't do anything about it. Okay.
I'm just going to take my headset off, right?
Okay, you're right. You're right, Ash. The problem is this, the people, you know, where's that thing? This is, people have no money. Yeah, you're right. A lot of people have run out of money, right? A lot of people have run out of money and there's no cash left. Now, let me tell you what is happening next. I've always said the next thing is DeFi summer, and this is what's going to happen. And Jeff will go, they never learn, they never will learn. There's going to be a DeFi summer 2. And DeFi summer 2 will introduce new financial products. And you know what's going to happen? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen because I already see it happening now. It's just that people are not taking it. They are saying to you, Ash, you don't have any money, right, mate? How much? Okay, your 10,000 have become 1,000 quid or whatever, right? Or whatever it is. Why don't you put this in? It's not leverage, and you borrow some of this, you just pay the interest, and we are gonna give you more, and you can make more here. And there's gonna be a lot of loans, guys. Not only are there gonna be loans, see, before this in Crypto Summer 1, you had to over collateralize, right? A kind of control. Coming in Crypto Summer 2, I am very sure it will be under collateralized. Because already, collateralized, already we see like, hey, if you can borrow this crypto at 2% and you can put it and stake it at 40%, why aren't you borrowing? This is
like
good.
a Celsius evolving, is
Yes, they're saying that this is good. You'd be dumb not to take it. And Jeff will have heard this many, many times in his mining town. Again, Jeff, it's another form of this. So let me tell you that there is no problem with people having lost 90%. Trust me, they will come back and we'll have another overshoot. And once again, there'll be a lot of people crying. What changes,
oh my God.
Jeff? What changes, Jeff? Yeah, it's going to happen.
Do you know, mate, I think that what the point you've made is very, very poignant and absolutely on the money. But the only caveat that I would just maybe add is that what we were talking about in the last bull run is that Bitcoin rallied and shitcoin rallied. Everything was going right because it was just an absolute all-out feeding frenzy, and it didn't matter what people bought; it was going up. Now, what you're talking about here, which I've heard of this new system, which is brilliant. It's absolutely amazing, and I love it, the fact that they're going here. But what we're talking about here is something that's actually a bit more sophisticated.
Yeah.
So it's going to take somebody with that sophistication to come in, firstly understand it, and then see the value in it. I mean, it doesn't take a lot to see the value in it, but it's going to take that type of person.
Correct.
So the reason that I'm not sure whether I fully agree about the feeding frenzy is that I think the people that did invest in just about anything that moved last time wouldn't have been doing it for the understanding. Hold on a minute. If I borrow money here, I'm going to make money. They won't necessarily be doing it for that. They kind of want to go. They want the pump and dump. This is an investment. This sounds to me like a longer term play.
It is.
If you understand money, you're going to start to understand how you can push and pull your finances around, this is also supposedly not taxable. And you'll be able to understand how to pull and push your money around and take advantage. But as I say, the people that were in last time that really drove everything higher were not this type of person.
Okay, you're right. But you know what? There will be new people coming in. And they have a little knowledge. And you know what happens? Like, Ash, this is easy. And nothing that you and I say that can tell them, well, this is what happened last time. What do they say, Jeff? Well, that was different.
Yeah.
It's different now, and then they will see something else like NFTs like that just going bonkers, and they will say, hey, I want to buy that NFT with borrowed money because you know why? Look at that. Like at 2.1 million, maybe one will get it, and he owned a CryptoPunk and held it.
Unbelievable.
I told you this story before, I think, and I'll give you the abridged version of it. My father, who was a bookmaker, right, on dogs and horses and all sorts of things, he would take money on two flies going up a wall, no problem at all. And two things he told me when I was growing up. One was never run upstairs, and the other one was, sorry, three things he told me: never run upstairs, never bet with worried money, and never bet odds on. So never borrow. In other words, if you're betting with worried money, if you're speculating with money that you actually don't own, you've got a problem, and that to me smells of potential disaster for people.
It is. And you know what, Jeff? You know what they'll say? They'll say. I've been here before. I even know the aftermath. So there'll be a lot of DeFi protocols that will allow people to borrow experimentally. And then as usual, when the crash comes and everyone gets burned here, okay, that was an experiment. It kind of didn't work. We'll make it better next time. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it'll look different. It'll have a different facade, but it'll be exactly the same thing. Yeah.
So for the companies that doing it, it's okay. Okay, that kind of didn't work. We have.
And we got a lot of these guys that are
they're coming. They're
moving into because I've heard of a couple of companies, but not a lot of them that are doing this. But we're talking about quite a few.
They will probably be listed in this cycle, but they're there. You can participate in their test nets already. It's already there. So under collateralization allow you to borrow. But if you are sophisticated and you have that knowledge, and you are careful like John and has a wife who knows how to calculate things, you might be able to pull it off. I do it because I regard myself as sophisticated, but make sure you have all the spreadsheets ready to get out if your margins don't work. Do
you know where it'll be a problem, mate? And I agree with you. I've looked at this as well, and I just thought this is incredible. This really is quite amazing. What a brilliant tool. But where I think the problem will lie is that people will borrow money to invest in more cryptos.
That's the problem.
What they should probably do is invest in something else just in case.
I agree.
They can filter it through. I mean, there's a way to utilize this and get quite sophisticated with it and actually be in great shape.
Yes.
Because if you're able to borrow money to buy shares in, I don't know, a water company or something that is
utilities.
yeah, then you're in it's free money. It really is
Yes,
free
it is.
money.
I agree. I agree. Yeah.
But what people will probably do is go out and invest in Foxcoin or the next thing that is.
This is the thing. Like this, Jeff. Like you're right. Let's take the example of the water company or the electric company. It has steady flow of dividend. You do all your discounted cash flow, that will work, right? Now, the thing what's happening now is that the poor people can't buy it. This allows the poor people to buy it, but the poor people will never buy that, right? They will buy the most speculative British thing in the world.
Yes,
it doesn't even make sense. That's where we have the problem.
Interesting, mate, that you say that, because actually that does actually probably crush my view that there won't be the feeding frenzy, because actually you just convinced me that there can be. Because if those people are going out to buy the next kind of speculative thing, then it pushes it all back up again.
Correct.
But with all this money.
And it will be even worse. Each cycle is worse. And what you said is the same in Malaysia. I mean, it's the same thing. I'm telling you, this is what happens. Okay. I mean, it's totally stupid. But here you have a speculative stock. So this is an IPO. Okay. This is a solid stock. So the brokers expect this only to go up 20%. The brokers expect this to go up 10%. There's all the media frenzy here. I think John knows what this is. This is 60 PE. The PE here is 60. The PE here is 11. Construction. You guys know where this is coming, right? People are going for this, are bidding for this. So much so here that this share, there's even an excess. That's people. Right. They just don't know where, I'm going to go to that hot one. That's going to make me a millionaire in 1 month, but it can't, because this is 60 PE. Hello, my friend. This is not going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's people. And to the companies, what the companies want, and let's be fair to the companies, they just want people to use, and they say, we got it wrong. We can't control the people. We already asked them to go to this one. They just won't buy. No, they're not going to listen to Ash to buy some utility company. They're going to buy some space company. I don't know. That hasn't even started yet.
Do you know, it's interesting what you're saying, because actually, because I'm supportive of this. I'm supportive of being able to give the unbanked money and finances. Correct. But the way it's being kind of framed from these companies is, can you imagine that goat farmer in Africa being able to go and borrow access money and then buy another goat, and that's great. I mean, that is the ideology of that is perfect. But actually, what's more likely to happen without them giving the people education about money is that, as you say, you just get all these people just thinking, this is my way out. I can speculate now.
Yes,
so then they will go and speculate on things that they know nothing about, and it's got to come with education. They've got to be able. They've got to provide these people the understanding of how money works.
Yeah,
because
there's no point giving a man a fish. It's the old story, isn't it? You got to teach him how to fish it.
Yeah, exactly.
But here's the thing, Ash. That will only come after the next crash.
Yes, it will.
Because during this crash, you know why? That guy in Africa will find a way to buy an NFT goat and sell it to Jeff.
Look, he's got Buckley's.
He's going to buy a real goat. Okay, he's not going to buy a real goat, guys. He's not going to buy a real goat.
But there's some wonderful organizations around the world that Kiva comes to mind, KIVA. And I bought goats through Kiva and sheep and all the rest of it. So I think that's a far more rewarding experience for me than it is giving people money.
Do you know, mate,
without the education.
I look at some of these projects, and there was a project I was looking at yesterday which was talking about animal conservation in Africa, and I thought this is brilliant. And when I looked at that and I compared it with another DeFi kind of I don't know how many DeFi projects there are out there. Another DeFi project. And the amount of interest in the DeFi project outstripped the animal conservation by 10 to 1. Mm-hmm. And I think that really tells you everything. What people are after. It would be great if we could have this kind of this idea that we are doing this thing for the right reasons, to kind of like decentralization and governance is about having a better world. It won't end up that way, because people just want to make money, and fair play to them, because they're the ones that are in the gutter. All they really want to do is get out the gutter. They don't care about animal conservation before they care about getting out of the gutter. So it's a difficult balance. But as I say, the only way to change it is by giving them some education.
But there's a good story around here. You see this Axie Infinity. Now, this is what happened. True story. What happened is people in the Philippines are using this and making money just playing this. And they make about 800 US a month, which is more than a fresh graduate salary in Malaysia. Now, here's the story. When Axie saw this activity, they went and actually checked the IP. You know, something is going on there. And then they allowed this to happen. We say, hey, this is a good use case for our game. People actually make real money and they can earn a living out of this. That's why Axie is doing that. So we hope that we hear good things like this from the Philippines. Yeah.
Yeah.
It works.
Yes.
But
good stories are obviously what you want to hear. I hope they're not overpowered by the bad ones. But
well, mate, do you know what? This is some of the issue that the barrier to entry to get into the crypto space now has become so low that you can get all sorts of bad actors that are coming into it, and that's the unfortunate aspect of it. I'm sure the people that are at the head of this stuff and who came up with this stuff were trying to do it for the right reasons, but inevitably people will get their hands on it and they'll be sell it, because this NFT that you're talking about, maybe this pig thing is worth something, I don't know, but that to me sounds like a scam. I mean, geez.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you've got more faith. You've got more faith in these financiers than I have.
Yeah. But look at this. These things used to cost 2 ETH last year. Just 1.5 years ago. Okay, 2 ETH was about $300-400. Some of them have been sold for like 60,000 US dollars. Yes.
Well, it's just a screenshot, is it?
It's something that's moving. It's in the game. It's called a collectible in the game, and you can pay with it. So there is a utility for that.
Okay.
Yeah, and somebody was buying a lot of this for her son. Like, I don't know how much that kid has made a lot of money, man.
Can we get Tassie Devil on that or what?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's amazing, right? This is like amazing. So what happens is, if you play this, you don't get the Axie token. You get something called Small Love Potion. And then you actually have to sell that Small Love Potion. But hey, the people in the Philippines can do this. I'm not talking about the rich people. I'm talking about the poor people. The people in the ghettos there, And you know how they do it? Here's the strategy. They play 24 hours a day. It's like us, right? Okay, I'm going to play from this hour to this hour. Ash, it's your turn. Jeff, it's your turn. Lewis, it's your turn. So we have like a 6-hour thing. We have like a 6-hour shift. And it's like the mother, father, children, grandfather. It's like, whoa, that's serious. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is interesting, and I would I certainly wouldn't be belittling any of it, because I don't really understand the drive towards it.
And actually, one story that went viral is that I think one player there actually they managed to buy a house out of the ghetto.
Right. The thing is, though, mate, and this is the thing that makes me laugh about these stories, is that who wrote that story? And I can almost guarantee it was somebody at Coinbase or somebody that had some interest in the crypto market.
Yeah.
What they are not writing about is the 1,000 other people that bought it and now live on the street because they lost their house.
Yeah.
You only sort of tend to hear the kind of, or maybe we just don't. Maybe we only remember the good stories with this stuff. But it's a much broader and wider world than this. But fascinating.
It's a dangerous world. It's a dangerous world, as I said. That there will just be more ways to get the money in the future.
Yeah.
Right. This is very, very dangerous. I think that you need a basic financial education on how most of this works, because you're right. If not, you're just going to lose your money.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're lining up to take it. That's the thing.
Yeah,
they will.
Well, this is why we need. This is why we need you, mate. So, when's the next course, and when's what have we got coming
that
up?
is 28th and 29th, but I haven't scheduled an NFT yet. Probably an NFT will come around October. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now,
these are two spaces now. There's the NFT space, which has to be treated differently from the crypto space. So a lot of people were saying that, there is a wallet called Blockto. It has a community sale. So the problem with Blockto is that it has all these vesting period that's very long. In fact, by the time this Blockto vests, we're going to be in the bear market. So do we take it or not? I said take it, because Blockto is a wallet for flow. That is an NFT. I don't consider that a crypto wallet at all. Because you don't confuse that. Yes, because when you see even an NFT wallet, it has to start from crypto. It cannot start from NFT. Doesn't make sense. NFTs live on the blockchain. So you have to make a differentiation now if you're investing, that if you are going through your investments in the bear market, you want to be, you know, if crypto, no worries, you know, it's going to go down. But NFTs, you don't know, because we don't know the cycle of NFTs.
Yes. Very, very, very new, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, I love the NFT space. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I mean, I think some of this stuff is just absolute trash, but the fact that you can incorporate just about anything is what I find fascinating about the NFT space, and I think it's going to be a brilliant space to be involved in 3 to 5 years' time.
Yeah, very. In fact, in the US now, I think there's a plan where soon you owning the stock is represented by an NFT.
Oh, okay. Well, but this isn't a synthetic thing, then, is it? This is a different thing entirely.
Yeah, it's a different thing entirely. So
now that again, I find quite interesting, because I wonder whether that means you're going to get paid that little bit extra.
Correct. So they're saying that maybe even companies, they can give you their dividends to you through NFTs. So that means something. When you talk about the wallets in the future like this, you might even have a crypto and a stock wallet here. And the dividend can be given on the Ethereum network or BSC network or whatever. That I find amazing. It's just mind-blowing, because you can see the worlds now converging. So if it's an NFT wallet, go get it. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yes, because I mean, where you'd almost want it to happen is is your dividends to be paid in ETH or in something that you can stake. So then you're getting double bubble, you know, sort of like you get a staking reward.
Correct. And when you talk about that, Ash, again, something else is coming. And now listen to this, guys. You guys know that Compound and Aave are coming out with institutional DeFi, right? So in the future, you might be getting some USDC on your phone as a dividend, and you can just go to Compound and stake it.
Brilliant. That's what you want, rather than them paying you into your bank. Then you're going to send it out again and losing fees and this and the other. My last thing. I know we're all confident. Before that happens, guys, a lot of people are going to get burned. Don't be one of them. So you can partake in that. Thank you, mate. Well,
you're doing all the hard NFT research for us, and you're going to release that on in a few weeks or a couple. Okay, cool.
Yep. So it's two markets now. You know, we have to understand that it's just two separate markets.
Brilliant as always, mate. Fascinating stuff, and thank God we've got you to kind of help navigate us through these turbulent waters. Because
I have to do the research, and one day is Crystal here. Yeah, I hope Crystal is here. One day, Crystal, I'm gonna do research on NFT for OnlyFans. Okay, that's like the ultimate thing. She knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Private conversation. Have it in your own time.
just another one of those that went whoosh straight past me.
Right. So, forget it. You guys didn't hear that. Mute.
I remember I took the headset off 5 minutes ago, and you were talking to me about these loans.
Let's wrap it up, mate. I don't know if thank you as always, mate. That was really good. I enjoyed that. Jeff, you got anything that you'd like to update us on? I've got nothing my end. The FTSE is frozen in time right now, and I can't see it going anywhere before earnings. So nothing to do my end. But anything you want to update us on?
Euro's on the move, and actually, it looks like the dollar's on the move, and everything's going south against it. So it looks like it's a bit of a dollar rally at the moment. So I better just give you an update on euro dollar.
Yeah.
As to what I'm going to do.
Yeah, let's have a look at it. What you got there, mate.
Okay, so euro dollar. Let me tell you what I'm going to, or how I'm going to deal with this. So nothing's changed on the daily chart, because we've still got the stop loss intact. We haven't been entered into the trade, obviously. And for that reason, I do nothing. This could just be a temporary situation. It may not be. It may drive it further south. Who knows? I don't know. But the beauty about trading these black bars, which is absolutely my favorite thing to do when they've got a reversal bar that's got a black body, it gives you every chance to not be in the trade that goes in the wrong direction. And that looks like it may be happening at the moment. But I'm not going to do anything until such times as we get to close below yesterday's low. Okay, if we were to close below yesterday's low, then I'll look for another entry. And we spoke about this, right? We spoke about this level here. That may be the best place to pick this up long. As I said, this could be early. And if that's the case, happy days, we'll have a look for it. If we get right down here tomorrow and get a reversal bar, then overnight and get a reversal bar, then we may just change our entry a little bit. We'll see what happens, but nothing to do at the moment. And exactly the same with the weekly until this level, the bottom of the range, if you like, or trade line, trend line, call it whatever you want. Until we get a close below there, I won't be doing anything with it. So just hang on tight there and see what happens. Everything else is as it was. We've still got a lot of trades in the market. They're still doing okay. I think we were taken out of Kiwi yen with the trailing stop overnight. So that one's out, but we've still got 5 trades running and they're all doing well. So no dramas. Pound US dollar. Look, this is a breakout trade. So until we get the breakout, I'll just leave this in the market. There's no point closing it at any point. We will just see how that pans out. If it gives us a win, they're the win levels. If you want to chalk them down, one's at 140, 150. It's 200 pips from entry, right? We reached 80, so it's 200 pips would be our take profit level, all out at that level. And until they reach there, we will do absolutely nothing. Of course, if one triggers cancel the other, that's the only thing you need to do. But again, please do not put any meaningful money on this. Please do not until we test it forward for quite some time. Do you think it will test the trend line again, the euro, or we'll be talking about the FTSE? This trend line on the weekly? Is that what we're talking about, Lewis? I'm not sure. Euro dollar on the weekly trend line? No, I don't. I think this is going long. We'll see. Obviously, if it does test it again, we can reassess. But until that point, no, I don't think it's going to test that level at all. I think we're going long, as I said. We shall see.
Thank you for that. Okay, let's wrap it up then, and we'll be back same trade time, same trade channel tomorrow. Didn't see anything that I fancied doing with the FTSE, and it literally hasn't moved. You know, trying to get anything out of this market is very difficult. So watch out for the US session. I think there might be some movement there. If not, we will be trying to do it tomorrow. But markets look relatively buoyant right now. But at the same token, very, very quiet. So so be careful that the volatility has just dropped off, and trying to make money in this this environment will be tough. It will be tough, and it will probably test your mettle. But enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thanks for joining us, guys, and thank you to Angel. I'm presuming it's Angel with us. Yep. Thanks to Angel for looking after us. Thank you to you, mate, as always. And I will see you tomorrow, mate. Same trade time, same trade channel at 5 to 8.
Actually, no, you won't.
I won't see you tomorrow. It's going to be. Oh gosh, I need to be in early then tomorrow, so I'll be in at 5 to 8. So
Don't
yeah,
be
I'll
late.
see everybody else. Ainsley will be here.
You've got Ainsley. Most definitely. Be an interesting conversation around gold. It continues to stay just around that level, doesn't it? And it won't move at the moment. She'll be getting a little frustrated with that, but
Yeah,
I think she's got a firm plan in mind. So.
Well, you got to watch out for the CPIs tomorrow with gold, and I suspect that might give us some idea of what to do with it. But there's definitely some accumulation going on here, mate. Definitely some long-term investors getting interested. Silver still bothers me quite greatly.
Yes, does look very, very bearish on that chart.
Yeah.
I should think. All right, we better get out of here. SF, thank you to you as well for being here, and Paul P as well. Thank you all for being part of our Trading Buddies show and for being our trading buddies. Indeed, I'll catch you on Thursday. Ash and Ainsley, see you tomorrow. Have a great one. Bye bye for now.